Hello, it's Libby from libbystamps.com, and I'm going to show you today how to make these ice creams. Now I'm using these as decoration on a market stall over the weekend, so I just thought I'd show you quickly how to make them. First of all, you'll need some baked brown sugar card, and you'll need to run that through your Big Shot with the fancy fan folder. So I've done that before. Then you need to get your Tombow multi-purpose glue, and you're going to roll your piece of card, which is 15 by 10.5. You're going to roll it so that it makes this cone shape, and then we're going to stick it together, and some glue dots come in handy for that, as well as your Tombow. So I usually just put my finger on the corner, the bottom right corner, and roll my card over till it forms like a point here at the bottom. I hope you can see that. And then it's just a matter really of folding it round. So once you've got close enough to your point as you can, just fold your card around and tuck it in so that it forms a sort of cone. All right, you're going to want to let it go a little bit so that you can fit a foam ball inside it. All right, so you'll end up with a shape something like that, and then you need to just put your glue dots or your Tombow down the side, and you'll also need a skewer, and I'll show you why in a minute. So if we put some glue dots here, you'll get it started anyway. So just roll that round like that. So roll that round. All right, and then you're going to stick the rest of that down there so that it forms your cone like that. All right, once you've got that done, you then need to trim the top with just a pair of snips. So I haven't glued mine down, but I'll show you what I mean. I start on one side, and just with my eye, I sort of eyeball it and cut round, and then I sort of turn it around and try meeting it from the other side. Doesn't matter if you don't quite meet, and then just trim off. All right, now here's where a bit of hot glue comes in handy, and just trim these so that they're sort of a bit blunt. When you have a look at a proper waffle cone, it's not even. So all right, with your hot glue, and I'm not going to show you the hot glue, but I just put some hot glue around the top here, and then I quickly pop the ball inside. All right, so then we've got our ball on top, and we've got the start of our ice cream. The next thing I did was I took some Coastal Cabana in this case, and for the other two it was strawberry slush and just forgotten. Anyway, so just ink up a sponge, and all you're going to do is come onto your ball and just rub it. Now we're just doing this in order to give your ball some base colour, so that if you miss any bits with your thick cotton twine, and I'm using the Coastal Cabana here, it won't show up as much. All right, they're really just for decoration. They're not toys. All right, now here's where your patience and a skewer come in handy. Now, I did put some hot glue on this one. This was before I discovered the Tombow was going to work better. And we'll get our Tombow, and we're just going to put a little bit, just a fine line around the ball. All right, so right around, and you can then go back and wriggle it on without squeezing any more glue on. So you can spread that glue around just with the tip of the Tombow. So you're not squeezing now, you're just moving the glue around. All right, and here, this is where your skewer comes in handy. All right, so we're going to just wind around and wind around until we've got one whole layer, and then the next one is going to go on top of that, and you're just going to keep doing that really until you get to the top. Now, as you go, just use your skewer to push the layers of cotton twine together so that you haven't got any really big gaps. All right, and when you've about finished covering that bit of glue that you put on first, then put another layer on. So put a line on just above where you are, all the way around, and then without squeezing the bottle, you're going to sort of wriggle the glue up and down the foam ball that you've got on top of your cone, and then you're going to keep winding. So it's just a matter of continuing to twist around until you get your ball filled up. And just, if you've got a bit of a gap, just use your skewer to pop the twine down so that it fills up the gap. Alright, I'm a little bit further on now with my cone, and you can see as the ball narrows again, you need to be a little bit more careful with the twine. Don't pull it because that will give you big gaps, so just be very gentle with it. And I've used the broad tip of my Tombow to cover most of the top in glue, and hope that it, so sort of push it down with your skewer, but push it onto the glue, but I'm doing that quite gently. Alright, nearly at the point where I'm finished, so I've added more glue to the top, and this is the part where more fingers come into play, and you really need to start leaving a bit of time for the glue to grab the cotton, the thick cotton thread, so that it actually sticks, because it's a smaller space you're dealing with, and the thread really just wants to jump off the styrofoam ball. Now don't forget, these are just for decoration. You could do the same to make little cakes. Just cut out around in the well, whatever colour you'd like. Emboss it and cut out a patty case shape, and then pop it round a styrofoam ball and do a similar thing. They make great little decorations. As you can see, this one's been a bit time consuming, but the two I did last night I did fairly quickly. Alright, now I'm just almost rolling the cotton twill on top of itself, just to fill up this tiny little bit that I've got left in the top, and unfortunately my fingers are covered in glue, so it's not being very cooperative here, but you'll get the idea. To just round it round and give it a push down. Alright, I'm just going to round that round, just twirl the cone around with the cotton thread, and I'm going to cut it off shorter, so probably about there. You'll find once you get towards the very end, the weight of the thread seems to want to make it jump off the top of the cone, so you're just going to twist this around till you fill up that little hole that you have left, and when you get to the end you're just going to push it in with the skewer. And don't worry if you've got a little tail, you can either try and push that in, or you can trim it off a bit later. I'm going to trim mine off a bit later. And there we have our cone. So don't forget, they're just for decoration. Yes, they are a little bit time consuming, but how cute does that look? And when I've got it with the other two, don't you wish you could have an ice cream? Alright, that's it for this week. Thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you again next time. Bye for now.
Hey, if you wanna play, make it about a place. It'll take creation, imagination. Try to draw outside the line. Let us see inside.